whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Ho, ho, ho. This is your legal Santa, Gavin Richard, wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served.
Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years, I've gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it could make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why this prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
The place to be is right here with me. It is Random Topic Thursdays, the hottest live stream on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe tonight. as we discuss the following topics, ladies and gentlemen. What really went down with Antonio Brown, part 2? The insurrection on the Capitol, anniversary. Biden blames Trump. Harris compares incident to 9/11. Also, the NFL doesn't love LA. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the place to be is right here with me. And we have our special guest, of course, as always, the one and only Shawn James. Shawn is the author of books such as The Man Crisis and the John Haynes series. What's up, Shawn?
What's going on, Gavin?
All right, I'm doing fine, brother. We're doing fine, ladies and gentlemen. So, in the meantime, as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, please check out our Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's does great with every dish. I believe Shawn has ordered some of Nawny's Creole Blends. Shawn,
I just got it in the mail this week.
He just got it in the mail this week, so make sure you put it on some fried chicken or some fish. If y'all do serve catfish up there.
Well, we eat whiting in my house, so.
Okay. Oh, you eat what?
Whiting.
Whiting? Oh, okay. Well, put it on that. Oh, so yeah, you guys go up to that little shopping cart, order you some Nawny's Creole Blends, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we will, you saw my Facebook page for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr. All of you, I need you to go to that page right now. If you have not hit that like and follow button for updates as to when the book will be released. We're working on that now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is coming soon. Also, I want you to go to our Spotify page and check out our songs Video Soul that is available right now. Video Soul, one of my hot singles, a brand new single, is a beat. And also, we got to Get On Up, which is our theme song. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on ahead and get on up. Shawn and I will be back in a little bit. All righty.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat. Cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on
Feel
up.
the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Reshaw Presents here on Gboo 2786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, that was video. That was not video, so that was Gotta Get On Up. You guys get that on Spotify and Apple. Buy it on iTunes and Apple. That even goes for Video Soul. Before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to bring Shawn in, I want to give a special shout out to someone very dear to me, very dear to all of you, to Shawn as well. And I thought I had this here. Why did it come off? Hold on. And I had this in here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, our sister, Nicole from Nicole's View. I wish her get. Nicole has been stricken with COVID-19. She was diagnosed with it. So I want to keep her and her family in prayers. We know that her husband was stricken. I'm really praying that she pulls through, that she'll be fine, and I believe she will be. So please, Nicole, get well soon. Get well soon. We need you out here. Shawn, I don't know if you want to make a comment on anything. But
Well, I wish Nicole a speedy recovery. I'm sorry that she has contracted this virus, and I'm hoping that she does recover from this virus because so many people have lost their lives. And I'm hoping that she manages to pull through it and be one of those who recovers with her full health, like I did in April of 2020.
yes, most definitely, because this virus is no joke. This virus is no joke. It is real. I have cousins who was diagnosed with this. I know I have friends and family who have been diagnosed with it. So whether you choose to get the jab or not, you still got to protect yourself any way you can. So I don't want to get into that aspect of it, but you guys, please just take care of yourself. All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, but our sister Nicole, we want her to get well soon. So get well, Nicole, and see some people in the chat are responding. Yeah. So I'm gonna actually check on her later. I gotta check and see how she's doing. But we've told they're basically just get plenty of rest. YouTube is always gonna be here, so you can do videos later. But just relax and do nothing. But I believe she's gonna be fine. So we're just hoping. All right. Let's go ahead, Shawn, shall we?
Yes.
By the way, has anybody, I want to talk about this later. I got to do a separate video, but do y'all know, I'm glad y'all tuning with me, but at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock where you at, ABC is airing this Women of the Movement show that's going on. I got to do a video on it. Shawn has not seen it, so I don't want to talk about it too much. But my folks are watching it in the back, and don't want to play the movie, but it's on now on ABC. But don't switch to it because I want y'all here with me. But I got to do a whole video on it because even by them entitling it the Women of the Movement sounds suspect to me. But nevertheless, everybody, if you can, go to your at least DVR it so you can watch it for yourself, because this is the story about Emmett Till and what happened. And some of us who are adults, we're familiar with Emmett Till's story. I've talked about it on here. And Emmett was the highlight. His murder tragically was the catalyst that kickstarted the civil rights movement. Although he was not the first person to die, at a lynching, which is what he suffered. Certainly by his mother, Mamie Till, by her being courageous as she was, by showing that, horrific image of that, of her boy in that coffin, it got people started saying, no, we can't tolerate this. One Who Cares says it's on PBS. Okay, well, it's on ABC where I'm at here right now. But yeah, I thought, I didn't know why they call it. I know why they call it Women of the Movement. They basically are highlighting the women who played a role in the civil rights movement. But I don't know if it's on some divisiveness thing. And I wanted Shawn to talk about it, but he hasn't seen it because I know he'll find something. But I'm going to look at it myself and I'll give you my thoughts later today or later on in another video. But let's go ahead. Let's get started. So I want to talk about this. As you know, today, Shawn, is the anniversary of the Capitol riots that took place in last year on January 6, 2021. Now, of course, many of you know that around that time, your Donald Trump lost the presidential election. And many people were contesting, or at least some of his followers, they say, were contesting his the election results, that Biden should not be president. So what happened, essentially, everybody has seen the riots that took place on that day, and people protesting. And of course, Biden and Harris gave some speeches. Now, one speech in particular, I'm going to go back and forth and tell you what they did. They had a whole commemoration of what happened. I don't know if you saw earlier today, they had senators like Cory Booker. See, I got Shawn to smirk. Cory Booker was talking, and Kamala Harris gave a speech as well. Now, she got blasted in the media recently because apparently she compared what happened to January 6th to the Japanese attack of Pearl Harbor on 1941 and on September 11th, 2001 with the terrorist attacks. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Judge Joe Brown is talking about it too, but I want y'all to hear this for yourselves. And then I'm going to go back and look at some of Biden's speech, President Biden's speech.
Fellow Americans, good morning. Certain dates echo throughout history, including dates that instantly remind all who have lived through them where they were and what they were doing when our democracy came under assault. Dates that occupy not only a place on our calendars, but a place in our collective memory. December 7th, 1941, September 11th, 2001, and January 6th, 2021. On that day, I was not only Vice President-elect, I was also a United States Senator. And I was here at the Capitol that morning at a classified hearing with fellow members of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Hours later, the gates of the Capitol were breached.
Okay, so people have been upset. Critics immediately slammed the vice president, accusing her of a hyperbolic lack of historical perspective. Your collective memory is drowning in exaggeration, Tim Graham of the Media Research Center tweeted in response to Harris. The independent fact checkers are taking the day off on this hyperbole. Vice President Kamala Harris just equated the riot on January 6th to the terrorist attacks on 9/11 and the bombing of Pearl Harbor. A radio host who's a conservative, John Whitmer, stated. He said these people are so asinine. Many critics point out the disparate death tolls of the three events. The Capitol riot was bad. Political violence is wrong, and people are being prosecuted for it. Washington Examiner reporter Jerry Dunleavy tweeted, "It was not comparable to Pearl Harbor. 2,403 sailors, soldiers, and civilians killed by the Japanese army, nor comparable to 9/11. 2,977 Americans and others killed by Al Qaeda. Obviously." Ben Shapiro, that little sneed, that little asshole, I don't like him. He said 2,300 Americans killed December 7th, 1941, September 11th, 2001, 3,000 Americans killed, January 6th, 2021, 1 American killed. Comparing January 6th to Pearl Harbor is unhinged. Thousands of Americans were killed by the Japanese that horrible morning, and the war in the Pacific Theater had a death toll of roughly 30 million. So you get the picture. Everybody, of course, was complaining on it. Now, in addition to the fatal shooting of Ashley Babbitt, who broke the law, she stormed the Capitol. They were not supposed to. The department's union estimated that nearly 140 cops were physically injured or emotionally traumatized by the attack. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki defended the vice president's comparison later on Thursday, arguing they amounted to distractions from the real issues raised by last year's violence. Now, Harris also incorrectly described the U.S. as the oldest democracy in the world when the concept originated in ancient Athens in the 6th century BC. Well, that's even inaccurate itself because the United States calls itself a republic. If you read the Pledge of Allegiance, the United States is a republic. To the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. Now, Psaki stated, for those who are being critics of the vice president's remarks instead of focusing on analyzing comparisons of moments in history, I would suggest that they be part of solving the threats of democracy that occur today, that is happening today. And they're using this as an excuse not to be a part of that, she stated. Now, I want y'all to look at that, and I want to show you this other thing, of course, and how the media is responding. Now, how they responded with this, they also were talking about Joe Biden and his speech that he gave. Now, the speech was over 24 minutes long, and in fairness, I didn't see all of it, but I want you to look how CNN phrased this. The single most important and powerful line from Joe Biden's January 6th speech. Chris Cillizia, CNN editor-at-large, wrote, "You can't love your country only when you win it." That's the quote that they're talking about from Joe Biden. And they go in saying, at the heart of this line is the idea of patriotism. Remember that Donald Trump ran for president in 2016 expressly on the idea of putting America first. The idea that animated both his campaign and his 4 years in the White House was the United States was exceptional in the world, and that for too long, American leaders have been afraid to loudly and proudly proclaim that fact, choosing instead to make America subservient to lesser countries around the world. Now, here's a clip of the speech, and basically Biden blasted and Donald Trump the whole time. So you see here, though, I'm waiting for this ad to air, but when you listen to it, and just looking at this article, you'll see how CNN is treating your Joe Biden, although Biden, in truthfulness, as president, has done a lot of stuff that I would say is highly incompetent as president. attacking our Second Amendment rights, attacking our First Amendment rights with the censorship.
How it happened in 2020.
I'll talk about that in a minute.
Even before the first ballot was cast, the former president was preemptively sowing doubt about the election results. He built his lie over months. Wasn't based on any facts. He was just looking for an excuse, a pretext to cover for the truth. He's not just a former president. He's a defeated former president. Defeated by a margin of over 7 million of your votes in a full and free and fair election. There is simply zero proof the election results are inaccurate. In fact, in every venue where evidence had to be produced, an oath to tell the truth had to be taken, the former president failed to make his case. Just think about this. The former president and his supporters have never been able to explain how they accept as accurate the other election results that took place on November 3rd. The elections for governor, United States Senate, House of Representatives. Elections which they closed the gap in the House. They challenged none of that. President's name was first. Then we went down the line. Governors, senators, House of Representatives. Somehow those results are accurate on the same ballot. But the presidential race was flawed. And on the same ballot, the same day, cast by the same voters. The only difference, the former president didn't lose those races. He just lost the one that was his own.
Now, you would think, of course, CNN is going to praise this. And look at how, I just want to share. Now, this is on Google. You know, if you type in a topic, certain things come up. But look how they write their articles here when you look at the search engine Google and type in Biden's January 6th speech. So you see all of that. Biden holds Trump responsible on January 6th. January 6th Capitol riot, full anniversary coverage. It's still live. Trump lashes out at Biden over January 6th speech. So Trump had something to say about this.
Anniversary of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Trump blasted Biden in an email statement saying, quote, Biden used my name today to try to further divide America. He added that Biden, quote, is destroying our nation with insane policies of open borders, corrupt elections, disastrous energy policies, unconstitutional mandates, and devastating school closures. Trump said Biden's speech was just, quote, political theater and a distraction from the fact that Biden has completely and totally failed.
Well,
a couple of things. First,
all right. Well, Shawn, well, let me say this to Brother Bishop Scott, because he said the United States is neither, it's more an oligarchy. Well, the United States was set up as a republic. That is a fact. Even Benjamin Franklin said that. No, what we gave you was a republic. The problem is that we do, and you are correct, we do have few people here that run this nation, really the rich and elite. And the United States is very close to becoming a fascist state. It's on the verge of that with the things that we're seeing. The censorship we're seeing. Like, I can't even, the fact that I got to hide language to even talk about vaccines. I get if I'm giving wrong medical advice, but you have people that are losing their channels for saying that. You have people losing their channels because they don't support LGBTQ or they don't support democratic policies. Speak out against something. You can't, we have freedom of speech in this country. If everybody believed the same thing or everybody said the same thing, something would be wrong with us. Like General Patton even said, if you got all these people thinking the same way, then something's not working. But Shawn, I've talked enough. You tell me what you think of all of this.
Well, I just think that this whole speech that Joe Biden gave and Kamala Harris gave was a complete farce. The whole thing is that they want to just go out here and get people emotional about January 6th again. And they want to do this because of all of their failed policies. So, what they want to do is use the 1 year anniversary of the January 6th incident to go out here and get people emotional, get people riled up, and get them thinking about not voting for the Republican Party in spite of Joe Biden's failed policies and his low approval rating. Because when we look at the whole thing with this whole January 6th thing, it's an obsession with these leftists. They are obsessed, as I see it, with Donald Trump. They are obsessed with January 6th. And because they have an obsession with it, they just keep talking about it all the time. And the whole thing is, they don't really want to do anything about it because they benefit from the same white supremacist system that those insurrectionists have benefit that went out here and participated in. So what we saw again is, as I've said before, it's the left side of white supremacy versus the right side of white supremacy, and nobody really wants to do anything except try to persuade people to go and support their side. What they want to do is make themselves out to be the victim. But the whole thing is that both sides are not on the side of the American people. It's all about them and their ideals. And they're just so detached and so disconnected from real people that all they're thinking about is trying to convince us to go along with them based on feelings. But when we look at their actions, they haven't done anything tangible for the American people that have benefited them in any way, shape, or form over the last year. In fact, we've had more oppressive policies by these leftists in the last year than constructive policies to help many Americans, because everybody's so caught up in their feelings and this obsession with Donald Trump that we're not getting anything done. I mean, when I look at these speeches, again, it's all about trying to get people's emotions riled up, but people are not getting riled up anymore because they're frustrated with the failure of the Biden presidency over the last year. And they're not caught up in this rhetoric about Donald Trump anymore because Donald Trump is gone. And what they're saying is that you had a year in office and nothing's getting done. In fact, everything is getting worse. You made a lot of big promises, but the only thing we're seeing is more fascism and oppression to cover up your failures. And the whole thing is, you don't want to be accountable for your failures. You make these big promises, but then you don't deliver on the goods. And that's the whole thing that's got more and more Americans angry because you're sitting there looking at it and all you do is talk about January 6th all the time. But the whole thing is, you're not going to really do anything because you want to continue to benefit from the same white supremacist system, because many of these men have not been tried for treason. Many of these men have not been tried for any sort of sedition. If you were really serious about dealing with this whole January 6th thing, we would be having trials for sedition, trials for treason. But we see that this is all one big political theater designed to try to get people emotional so that they'll vote straight down a blue ticket in November.
Yeah. What did you think of Vice President Harris's comments about comparing it? Did you find she was comparing it to Pearl Harbor and 9/11 by what she
I
was
found
saying?
that to be an exaggeration. I found that to be absolutely ridiculous because what happened there was completely different. I mean, what happened in Pearl Harbor and 9/11 were attacks on America by foreign enemies. And that really what she was putting together was a straw man argument, trying to compare it, but it just didn't work. The whole thing is that those were attacks by foreign invaders who were looking to attack the country. This was a whole, I don't know what to call it, but it was an event that happened, I believe, primarily because of maybe some frustration due to the election and also frustration due to the whole COVID-19 lockdowns that led to many Americans being unemployed and many Americans struggling. But she wants to try to create this straw man argument and try to make all this hyperbole about all of it being worse. And what she was really doing was trying to demonize America's, what she believes, white males. That's what I believe she was trying to do, demonize half of America. And again, that type of hyperbole and that type of rhetoric, that's the kind of stuff that starts civil wars. So when I listen to Kamala Harris again, this is a woman who did not do her research, did not do her due diligence, probably had somebody write up the speech without ever studying any American history. And it just shows us again why she is not qualified to be the vice president. And it just shows us that we are in some really bad hands because she's not fit to be a leader. Because if you can't do your research for a speech, then I shudder to think what would happen if we were to actually put you in office if this president were to have passed away or something tragic were happen to him. The country would probably be
Yeah.
on the fast track to hell with her leadership, because if you can't do basic research for a basic speech, then you have no business in this job at all.
No, none at all. And I think that many people are regretting voting for her after voting for the Biden Harris ticket. Matter of fact, do you know that she has the lowest approval rating of any vice president in history?
Yeah, I've done the research on it. Both Biden and Harris are tracking really low. I mean, this is a disaster of a presidency. I mean, because they're just the worst I've ever seen. They promised big change. They talked a good game, but we're seeing that neither one of them are qualified to run the office. And what's really sad here is that the reality show host, Donald Trump, is did better work than a man with 47 years of experience in Washington and a woman with over 20 years of experience. And that's the most embarrassing thing about the Biden Harris ticket is they're supposed to be more experienced, more professional, but it's coming across like they're the most incompetent people I've ever seen since the Carter administration.
Yeah. We got a special guest here, Shawn, tonight. Let's welcome our brother, Bishop Gerald Scott. Bishop, how you doing?
Good evening to the both of you. God bless you, Gavin, and to Shawn.
Good
Glad to
evening.
be with you and
Good
the
evening,
audience
Bishop. How are
this
you?
evening. It's a very interesting conversation that you're having. I knew it was going to be no less than that. It always is. And I'm glad to be a part of it this evening.
All right. Thank you, Bishop. Gordon Freeman said Trump was more racist. Well, Trump was more open, I think. Biden's history, if you have not looked at it, I'm going by history, by bills that he has passed, the people he is associated with. He was a Dixiecrat. Based off the information I've gathered, Judge Joe Brown has talked about it extensively. Even just looking at his record, his voting record, the bills he's passed, the crime bills, his statements on forced busing, that enough should have encouraged black people not to vote for him. But because he was President Obama's vice president and we need the orange evil man out, people went out and voted for him. But Bishop, I want you to give your thoughts briefly, if you could, on Kamala Harris's, Vice President Harris's remarks, as well as Joe Biden and the anniversary of this insurrection.
Well, talking about Joe Biden first, and then I'll get it with Kamala Harris. I was a pastor in Delaware when he was the senator from Delaware. So I know the record of Joe Biden very well. He's the author, really. He bragged about being the author of the crime bill that Bill Clinton signed back in 1994. He has always been very condescending to African Americans. I remember I met him one time, and he always had an air about him. He always looked at us like we were children that he always had to pander to and in court every 4 years. The same tactics he used now, he used then, pretending to be a friend, pretending to be an ally, but in truth did nothing for the African American communities in Delaware.
Well, that was just like,
as he's not doing much for the American for anything now.
right.
His
Well,
statements
like
are very interesting, to say the least, because of how he's been in his 100 days. He's criticizing a man who was the president for 4 years, and he, like Shawn has just indicated, who has 47 years of public service, running back to 1973, all the way till now, a little bit over 47 years now. And of course, he has a very dubious record as it relates to his history, as it relates to African Americans in every possible way. He talked about he didn't want his children to be bused with black children, to sit with black children, to be a part of the black experience. But I look at the Joe Biden, because everybody always says, well, that's 20, 30, 40 years ago. But I look at the Joe Biden of the campaign, on the campaign trail. he was just as racist on the campaign trail as he was there in Wilmington and Dover when he was a senator. I remember him saying how when asked by Ed Gordon, would he support reparations? He said the only way I would even consider it is if Native Americans were a part of it.
And how much it would cost, right?
And how much would it would cost?
Well,
so he's been very. I know when when Charlemagne asked him about the election and all of that, he said, "Well, I say if anybody votes Trump over me, they ain't black." I mean, just the condescending, very paternal, very I would almost say a
look at how
slave
he
master
talks to
kind of
those
mentality,
Look
taking
how he
care of his
talked
poor
to those-
black people. Go on. I'm sorry.
Look how he talked to those people after he won, when he had Mark Morial and Al
Yeah.
Sharpton and all of those members of the Congressional Black Caucus basically telling them, I can't do nothing for you. The Hispanic community is going to outnumber you, so you better work with them. You know, he talked like he talked like what you're saying. He talks down to the
I
black.
mean, what would he say? I mean, he actually said during that meeting, he told them, yelled at them as though they were children. What I say, I mean, and what I mean, I say. Who the heck do you think you are, mister? I mean, some of those men were just as old, just as seasoned as he was, men and women both. But we came out the meeting, those 9 people came out of that meeting, talking about it was a very productive meeting. He scolded you like a daddy does his kids. Got you straight. Let you know, don't expect nothing from me because I'm not giving you nothing. And he's lived up to it all of the 100+ days of this whole year of his being president. He's lived up to it. One thing I'll say about Biden, his attitude and his disposition as it relates to African Americans never changes. And he's always honest about it. And he shows you every day he's not going to do a thing for you. He didn't do it in 2021. He's not going to do it in 2022, 23, or 24. Or he'll court you from now on. He'll try to go to your churches from now on. But in terms of substance, he'll give you gestures. And that's all we're living with right now. A whole bunch of gestures. A lot of statues. We got a whole bunch of them, George Floyd and everybody else, pulling down statues, building up statues, and all of that type of thing, giving us another holiday that we're not going to enjoy ourselves, because most of us are blue-collar workers. The ones that's going to benefit from this Juneteenth will be his folk, the white-collar workers. They're the ones who are going to be off on those days, not us. So don't be deceived, folk. Don't be deceived by the okie doke. He's going to throw that ball at you again, and we're gonna run for it again. And it's a sad commentary, but in so many instances, it's been the truth every single time. When he was in Delaware, he was a hero to a whole lot of black folk because he gave them jobs, because he gave them some turkeys at Thanksgiving and a couple of Christmas baskets during Christmas season. And he was a great old dude. But in fact, if you look at his record, he did absolutely nothing for the black community in this state of Delaware, and he's not doing a thing for the black community in the entire United States as the 46th president.
Yeah. Well, Bishop,
don't let me get going on Kamala. I mean, I think it was a travesty, a downright travesty, that she would compare Pearl Harbor and she would compare 9/11 to Americans having the right. Actually, if you be honest about it, the Constitution says that if we have a government that is contrary to what we as citizens would like to have, we have the authority really to challenge it. And to the degree they did may have been wrong, and I believe it was wrong, but we have a right to challenge our government. And now we're getting to a place, and let me say this and I'm through. We're getting to a place of totalitarianism where if you speak against the government now, you're in danger of being fired, you're in danger of being jailed, you're in danger of being censored, you're in danger of having all of your liberties taken from you. It's not just the Second Amendment. You're going to find that it's going to be the First, Second, Third, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, and 22nd Amendment that's going to be in jeopardy if we let this thing keep on happening. Republic, that's a joke. How can you be a republic? A republic is supposed to be, this is the difference between a democracy and a republic. A republic is one that are representatives where the democratic system elects people to represent you. That's a republic. They're elected officials that are supposed to represent the people. Democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. They rule the government. In our case, we don't rule the government directly. We send representatives, senators, congressmen to represent us in our interests. Do you think we're a republic? Do they represent your interest? Are they concerned with your future and the future of your children and your grandchildren? Absolutely not. And let me say this too. The founding fathers, Ben Franklin, Tommy, and Georgie, and all those guys that were there in my city when they wrote up the Continental Congress there in the 1700s, and they made the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. It was an oligarchy then. In order to be successful, in order to have power and influence, you had to be a white Anglo-Saxon property-owning male. And you had to be Protestant. You couldn't be Catholic. That's who ran this country. We were slaves. Talking about republic. We were 3/5 of a man in that Constitution. No, we've never been a republic. We've certainly never been a democracy. We've always been an oligarchy. We're going to be an oligarchy unless somebody steps in and says, enough's enough, let's make a change.
All right. Well, you said enough, Bishop.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm through.
Right. Well, what I was referring to when I was saying republic is what we state on a record, but what people state isn't always what we do. It's not our reflective of our actions and what we have done. We are a nation, that we tout ourselves as being better than other nations, but yet we have one of the largest homeless populations. We treat our military veterans like crap, some of whom suffer from mental illness and are living on the streets. We have right now with this presidency, I said this before, it's like having Lloyd Bridges from Hot Shots Part 2 or Leslie Nielsen from Scary Movie 3 as president, because this is just incompetency that I'm seeing over and over again. And we elected these people, and I didn't elect them, but most of our people, we vote out of fear. I noticed that some of the elders that voted out of fear for this they're and I think a lot of them are having, second thoughts about what they did, because it's becoming more and more. I mean, and at least Biden has been open. We are not his priority. He has stated this. He's from day one. The first thing he did was, well, I'm gonna give executive orders for LGBTQ. I'm gonna give executive orders for illegal immigrants. I'm gonna open up the borders. Which makes zero sense if you're trying to prevent the spread of COVID. Remember, when Donald Trump was president and COVID-19 started, everything was about shutting the cities down. And I'm going to move into this in our next topic. But what sense does it make if we have Omicron on a rise right now, and we're still hosting New Year's Eve, like they had New Year's Eve in New York a few days ago? What sense does all of this make? Los Angeles, and I'm going to get in my next topic, but you notice how they were telling Trump, you need to shut the country down. But now that Biden is in office, you don't hear that as much. Have y'all noticed that?
Oh, I've noticed it definitely. What they want to do is make it like, they want to make it like they're trying to save the economy. When in actuality, what they want to do was just discredit Donald Trump and make him out to be the bad guy. When we're starting to see the pieces on the chessboard, it really wasn't about stopping this virus. It was all about them trying to discredit Donald Trump and trying to make him out to be the villain as related to being incompetent and not being capable of taking care of the country. A narrative that what we're seeing now is to be completely false. And what we're seeing is that they played a lot of dirty tricks on people with fear to try to manipulate people. And some people are waking up right now, and more people are starting to wake up and realize that this Biden presidency isn't what people thought they were getting. Just like here in New York, 5 days into this Eric Adams being mayor, people are finding out that this guy isn't what people thought he was. And they're thinking, people are now realizing that these candidates, they say one thing, they do another. And this whole thing was all really about destroying people's lives because of this obsession I'm seeing that I've talked about in a video before, the Trump obsession. And I believe that like Joe Biden made a speech that Donald Trump lost. Well, I think they're still butthurt because Hillary Clinton lost. And that's the reason why they wanted to destroy the country. And that's why they're so obsessed with Donald Trump, because it's like he's renting space out in the back of their minds because he managed to do something and beat their candidate. And the whole thing was he beat the entire system by just going out here and doing what every American under the Constitution was supposed to do, be able to just run for office.
Well, I think Donald Trump is really a camouflage. They're so inept that they have to have him in the front in order to compare themselves with him.
Right.
And so they don't know what they're doing. They're destroying everything that he built out of spite.
Yeah.
Not out of the betterment of the country, but out of spite. You no longer build the wall. That's out of spite because he built the wall. And now everybody and their mother's coming over, crossing those borders. I mean, everything they're doing is almost out of spite. They're rolling back everything that Trump did, and they continue to villainize him because they're so inept. Now, just like you said, Shawn, but these are people collectively that have over 60 years of governmental service. 20 plus years with Kamala, 47 years with Biden. He was United States Senator. He was a vice president. And you had a man who was only a businessman and an entertainer come in and become president, did things no other president ever did. And I was not a Donald Trump fan by no stretch, but I didn't vote for Biden either, nor did I vote for Hillary, and nor will I ever vote for, again, the Democrats that they keep on putting in my face over and over again. They make it clear when they say the choices we have are the lesser of two evils. What kind of choice is that? That you're given the lesser of two evils. Both parties are putting up evil before you to choose from. And we're supposed to choose from the lesser of the two evils. And then we're surprised when the winner is evil. How can you be surprised the winner is evil when the only choices you were given were two evil folk?
Do you prefer Satan or the devil? Would you like if you had a choice of food in a camp and they served you ass salad or shit soup? Excuse my language, Bishop. That's what essentially they tell you. Well, no, I'd rather starve to death because I'm not going to stand. I'm not going to. You're not going to force feed me something. Now, computer robots, you asked us, and I got to be careful with this, but you asked, do you think that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will eventually get their karma in a big way? I have to be careful with what I say when you say get their karma, because of course we are not threatening any elected official or anything like that. But what I will say is that when they have partially gotten drawback this past year, when you saw what took place in the elections in November, when you basically had a sea of red come into the Congress. So now it's going to be harder for Joe Biden to pass anything that he wants, even worse. Now, when you get 2022, when it's up when some Senate seats are up, you're going to see the same thing. As Shawn has talked about, a sea of red, Bloody Tuesday. And by that, he's talking about how many of these Republicans are going to win all of these seats back because people are frustrated by the progressive, if you want to call it progressive, agenda of the Democratic Party. So they've already gotten their comeuppance. People are not voting. People are not supporting. People are waking up. I know for a fact, if it were 2024, which I think is the next presidential race, I do not believe that this president would win again. I don't believe he would get reelected. I don't. He could, I don't know who will be running against him. I've thought Trump might run again, but whoever it is, I'm pretty sure Americans would vote for them because and if they said Biden got 100 million votes, I would be suspicious of that. They said he got 80 million. Well, Trump had 80 million. Biden had about 95 million or more, according to what they're saying. So Biden broke Obama's record.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I had a
But let me say this. Can I add? Can I say this, Gavin? That in my humble estimation, Biden always wants to make it seem like he became president under a mandate. That was not the truth. He became president because they wanted Trump out, and Shawn indicated this, and so did you earlier. It was a protest vote.
right.
It wasn't a support vote. It wasn't Biden is the man that's going to save us.
Guy.
Biden is the man that's different than Trump, and he's right. They were right. Biden is different than Trump, but I don't think it's for the better.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
a
think
complete
Shawn,
failure.
like I said, it's like Lloyd Bridges from Hot Shots Part 2. I think they were better. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Donate to the Cash App. We're going to move into my next topic since I'm talking about mandates. This thing that happens now, I said the NFL doesn't love LA. It's being reported that the Super Bowl, which is Super Bowl 46, is possibly going to be relocated to Cowboys' home stadium. NFL making emergency COVID plans. The NFL is trying to be prepared in case state COVID restrictions get in the way of the plan to play Super Bowl 46 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. That's the new stadium that they built not far from Nipsey's store, Nipsey Hussle's store. It says that they're looking into the availability of other emergency venues, including Arlington's AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Super Bowl 46 is currently scheduled to take place on Sunday, February 13th at the brand new SoFi Stadium, just outside of Los Angeles. While NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy confirms that the NFL is conducting a search into backup venues for this year's Super Bowl, the league does that in his contention every year. We plan on playing Super Bowl 46 as scheduled at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles on Sunday, February 13th. As part of our standard contingency planning process that we conduct all regular and postseason games, we have contacted several clubs to inquire about stadium availability in the event we cannot play the Super Bowl as scheduled due to weather-related issues or unforeseen circumstances. Now, if you know about California, especially in the wake of COVID, they have some of the strictest mandates in the country. I think only second to New York. And talk about New York City and so forth. They've had that. New mandates are coming in each year. Now, it's being reported on Yahoo News just 7 hours ago that they announced that it's extending its indoor mask mandate until at least February 15th, which is 2 days after the Super Bowl. Meaning Los Angeles County already required everyone 2 years of age and older to wear a mask at outdoor events with more than 10,000 attendees. Although the Los Angeles Rams and Chargers have played all season at the SoFi Stadium in front of capacity crowds, both teams have taken extra precautions as a result of the recent spike in infections. Since December 15th, fans 5 years and older must provide proof of either a negative COVID-19 test or an injection to gain entry into the stadium. So this is from Yahoo News, ladies and gentlemen. And in fairness, it is true that every year they look for emergency stadiums that can host the Super Bowl in case something happens. Now, as I pointed this out earlier, and I think this is interesting. In my home city of New Orleans, today is King Day, which means it's officially Mardi Gras season. The mayor of New Orleans, Mayor Cantrell, has stated that Mardi Gras will go on in 2022. Even with that, I'm getting reports now, for instance, in St. Tammany Parish, which is on the North Shore, which is north of New Orleans, there actually is so high a spike in cases that hospitals are filled up to capacity. So I'm saying all of this. You still have mandates in place where you got to show some places where you got to show a vaccine card to gain entry. Yeah, a card to gain entry. What sense, I'm just curious, does it make? And I like having a party. I like Mardi Gras and all this stuff. But how is it we have all of these mandates in place? You're trying to prevent the spread, but you're going to throw the largest party in the city and for days and weeks to come. And then you're having the Super Bowl, which you still sit in close proximity with others. So I'm just wondering about this. But yeah, so it says all indoor workers have to wear N95 masks starting January 17th. No cloth masks in LA. Yeah, now they're saying cloth masks don't. I got to be careful too, because even saying that, but they've been inconsistent with this whole thing. But do you all think that? I don't think the NFL is going to move the Super Bowl to out of Los Angeles. But what are your thoughts, Shawn, and then Bishop?
Well, I think the NFL is in a bind because they lost a lot of money this year from games that where players couldn't play due to these mandates. They lost a lot of money because a lot of players were out for certain games and certain team owners wound up losing a lot of money on these games. So the NFL is in a really bad spot right now because financially they were looking to come out of this on top, but they're hemorrhaging cash at this point. So they're looking at these policies and seeing how it's detrimental to them because the Super Bowl is a huge payday for the NFL. And if they go to Dallas, they don't have to deal with these mandates from these leftists. They have an open stadium. They have a place where unjabbed and jabbed can just go out here and enjoy the game and have a good day without all of this bureaucracy tying everything up. And I think that the NFL, while they're saying that this is all part of procedure, they're looking at the big picture as related to their profits. And if they do this, it could be the death blow for all of these mandate maniacs out here who are obsessed with trying to oppress people with their policies that are what I call medical apartheid or a medical Jim Crow. And these policies are hurting a lot of states here, like here in New York. A lot of businesses are just reeling from these kind of mandates because it keeps almost half of the customers out of the business. It keeps the tourists from coming in. But these obsessed leftists, they continue on with these policies saying it's going to stop the spread, but it hasn't stopped the spread here in New York. In fact, the spread has exploded over the course of the last month. And we see that the policy doesn't work, but these guys continue doubling and tripling down on these policies. And if the NFL walks away, that could be the knockout punch that puts a death blow to these mandates because these leftists see themselves losing a lot of money. And again, this is a windfall for many of these states because you're getting a lot of tourism money, you're getting a lot of travel money, a lot of tax revenue. And if this happens, it would just make it where these guys would have to really rethink these mandates because these mandates are hurting the economy. And again, they're not stopping any sort of spread. It's just a lot of people's egos. And if the NFL signs off on walking away, we could see the airline industry walking away. We could see big business walking away. And that would make these politicians give pause because while they say they want to save the economy, we would see them going against the industries of the economy. And if they did that, it would be detrimental to them, especially in an election year.
Bishop?
Well, I think we're coming down to the wire now. The Super Bowl is scheduled for February the 13th, which is a little over a month away. I think they're gonna keep it in California. I think they have to. I don't think they want to, but I think they're almost forced to do it. I mean, the tickets are already being out there sold and all of this, and people that are they're going with the idea they're going to Inglewood, California. This will be about the 13th time they've had it in California. I think that they would rather do it somewhere else, but I think their hands are almost tied at this point that they have to go ahead and have it played in California, which it looks like you were saying is a very restrictive state right now. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I mean, everything that I've seen so far about this whole COVID-19 situation is it's mandates are made to be broken. All you got to do is ask AOC. who's a real staunch supporter of the mandates and the Biden policies on this issue. But when she wants to get away, she don't go back to New York, nor does she stay in D.C. She goes down to Florida, where the governor is one of her arch enemies, enjoys herself kicking it at a drag bar with no mask on. So I mean,
who is that?
I mean, I think of Nancy Pelosi going to the hairdresser, no mask on.
Who's that with the drag bar? Who are you talking about? Who's that again?
AOC.
Oh,
AOC.
yeah.
That's where she
Yeah.
went.
She got caught with that.
That's where she went. That's where she went, according to the reporter.
Yeah, I saw
according
that.
to the newspaper down there in California. I mean, Florida. But nevertheless, the issue is they tell us to do what they're not willing to do themselves. And so, I mean, what Obama had a big bash. They all do. They all tell us to be mindful, but they are willing and ready to bend the rules and even break the rules when it serves their purpose. Bottom line, always remember this: the bottom line is always money. It's always money. It's not about your health. It's not about whether you live or die. It's about the Benjamins.
Oh, it's all about the Benjamins. Yeah. Well, I can tell you in New Orleans, and I mean, last year, Mayor Cantrell, she was very strict. I mean, phase 2. We're in phase 2. That video that went viral, in 2020. We're not getting out of this. We're in phase 2. The restaurants that had to show, you have to show your proof of being injected with that to enter restaurants, to enter movie theaters. So they've been pushing all of that. Now, this is what you're talking about. Yeah, that's AOC with Billy Porter.
And who is Billy Porter? Isn't he a drag queen? Okay, I'll leave it.
He's gay. Yeah.
Okay, and what? How does he dress?
Let me tell you a little about Billy.
Moist, like a woman.
And what we used to call that?
Nobody's wearing a mask.
Nobody wearing a mask.
I've seen it. Florida,
yet her home state is the most restrictive state in the whole country as it relates to the coronavirus. And yet their congresswoman goes down to Florida to have fun.
Well, look at this. Florida cases spike at 948%.
Look at that.
Yeah, and to what I'm saying about Louisiana and New Orleans' economy is always, and this has been its downfall, it's always relied on tourism to make money. We don't have any industries. We don't have, like I remember in certain cities or certain states like Pennsylvania, you had the steel mills. Gary, Indiana, they had the steel mills. We don't have that. We don't have those industries anymore. So what it's always relied on is people coming from out of state, from out of the country, coming in and coming to Mardi Gras, going to the French Quarter, going to Uptown, all of these restaurants and all of these hotels, which they charge you a fee for, and that's how they make their money. And unfortunately, that's as far as it has gone. Yeah, AOC is a joke. She's really. Don't get Shawn started on her because Shawn loves her.
Not at all.
Shawn loves her.
She's a box of rocks.
Oh, when I take a critical examination of your AOC, I must say that this woman is even worse than your Duchess of Wretchedness. So she's a box of rocks. And when I take a critical examination of the rocks are filled to capacity in her head. Now, I like imitating Shawn from time to time. People laugh at like that. He doesn't get a kick out of it, obviously, but
he seemed like he's really broken up about it.
Yeah, he is. But speaking of football, so yeah, it's all about money at the end of the day. You can shoot. I mean, I've never been to a Super Bowl. I wish, if I had the chance the time would have been when I was 24, when the Saints went to the Super Bowl on my birthday, February 7th. That would have been, I guess, the time to go. But just those tickets are crazy to get. They're highly expensive, and I was completely, as we say, dead ass broke at that time. But everybody will watch, I guess, the Super Bowl in LA. We'll find out what happens, but it'll be interesting. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Guys, let me make y'all laugh right quick before I get into the next topic, and it's still stuck on football. But Tariq Nasheed put this out. I haven't seen this, but speaking of drag queens, watch this 30-second clip.
Just why don't we just pair up?
I'm not into touching, okay? I'm not. Let me put that out front. I'm no touching, no touching.
No touching. I won't touch you. Can acknowledge us. Ooh, who is this? Cool.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a man of God. I can't do this. Oh no. Yeah, I love those people. I pray for them. I would never do anything to hurt them or condemn them. But men are not supposed to dress like women. I'm not going to go along with that.
On July 17th, 2015, Dylan Storm Roof was attending a Bible study group at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina. Approximately 1 hour into the meeting, Roof...
Yeah, I thought from the comments, he's like, y'all don't come around with me. I thought he was going to curse. But Grandpa wasn't having none of that. I can't do this. I'm a man of God. I can't do this. Bishop, you would have gotten out of there?
Oh, I couldn't. Oh, man. That would have been mighty awkward. I would have felt awkward around that kind of situation.
You got out of there with that wheelchair. You'd have spun out of there. You'd have left brake marks. I wouldn't have. I wonder how did they even get there in the first place. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, whatever it was, old man wasn't having it. Grandpa wasn't having it. I'm a man of God. I can't do this.
Can't do it. Can't. He tried.
Shawn, he got out of there real quick, huh?
Yeah, he had to get out of there. I would have never went there in the first place.
Well, who knows?
Yeah, me neither, really.
They probably tricked him. He didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they pull them bait and switches like that, and that's turns people off. There's no need to go there. I mean,
I think he got nervous when she got behind him. He was like, "Oh no." You ain't doing this. Hell with this shit. Excuse me, bitch. I pray for y'all, but no, I ain't doing this. I laugh. Yeah, people, you should have seen the comments. People were fed up with that. But yeah, let's go to the next topic now. What really went down with Antonio Brown Part 2? Now, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I've talked about this now. Most people remember, of course, what happened with Antonio Brown. I'm sure you've seen it, Bishop, and I know Shawn has seen it because he did a video on this earlier. But your Antonio Brown walked off the field during the middle of the game with the New York Jets. So he walked off the field half naked, took his jersey, took his pads, took everything off, threw it in the crowd, started jogging, doing jumping jacks in the opposite end zone until he walked in the back. He was just released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier this morning. And there has been a back and forth. And Antonio Brown has broken his silence about what has happened. In a lengthy statement that was released through his attorney, Sean Burstein, the veteran wide receiver explained his side of the story that unfolded on Sunday when he departed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sideline in the midst of their matchup with the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Prior reports highlighted that he had an injury as the main catalyst for his outburst on the sideline and subsequent departure from the team in the middle of the game. Brown reportedly got into a spat with head coach Bruce Arians as he tried to get him into the game, and the receiver refused. Once he refused the game upon to enter the game upon another request, the coach is said to have told him to get out. Brown highlighted this situation in a full statement via his attorney, which you can read entirely below. He says, because of my commitment of the game, I relented to pressure directly from my coach to play injured. Despite the pain, I suited up. The staff injected me with what I now know was a powerful and sometimes dangerous painkiller that the NFLPA has warned against using, and I gave it my all for the team. I played until it was clear that I could not use my ankle to safely perform my playing responsibilities. On top of that, the pain was extreme. I took a seat on the sideline, and my coach came up to me, very upset, and shouted, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" I told him it's my ankle. But he knew that. It was well documented, and we had discussed it. He then ordered me to get on the field. I said, "Coach, I can't." He didn't call for medical attention. Instead, he shouted at me, "You're done," while he ran his finger across his throat. Coach was telling me that if I didn't play hurt, then I was done with the Bucks. I didn't quit. I was cut. I didn't walk away from my brothers. I was thrown out. Being fired on the sideline for having a painful injury was enough. Then came their spin. Coach denied on national television that he knew about my ankle. That's 100% inaccurate. Not only did he know I missed several games with the injury, he and I exchanged texts days before the game where he clearly acknowledged my injury. He obviously knew I was on the injury list, and the GM acknowledged after the game in text messages to my camp that I did tell the coach about my ankle pain on Sunday. I know we were losing to the Jets, and that was frustrating for all of us, but I could not make football plays on that ankle. Yes, I walked off the field, but there's a major difference between launching from the line and taking hits compared to jogging off the field with a rush of emotions going through your mind. I'm reflecting on my reaction, but there was a trigger. The trigger was someone telling me that I'm not allowed to feel pain. I acknowledge my past, but my past does not make me a second class citizen. My past does not forfeit my right to be heard when I'm in pain. Now, I will not read the entire article on this. You guys can look this up on CBSSports.com. They have the whole article. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers released a statement, of course. They said and denied when they released him, all of this was happening. They said he was cleared to play. Now, just because you're cleared to play doesn't mean necessarily in football terms that you still don't have an injury. If you all remember when Terrell Owens was the wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, your hometown, Bishop,
Yes.
Terrell Owens played in the Super Bowl on a broken leg. He actually played. He had to sign a waiver to do so. So now I look at what happened with him. Still, he's saying he hurt his ankle and he's in pain. But I have to say he was jogging off that field doing jumping jacks, laughing. Now, yes, that doesn't mean that he didn't have an injury. I've seen the pictures of it. And if it is true that he was having issues, and of course, the coach told him he couldn't and said he couldn't play, and the coach ignored him and said, "No, you're going to play. You got to go in," and did what he said. Then they have a lot of explaining to do, especially with the NFLPA, which is the players' union, about what happened. Now, if he made that sign and had that argument, as they've pointed out, there are cameras that are around, in that stadium 24/7. Not just cameras from the NFL, but they have cameras from fans that are in the stadium that are taking pictures of their favorite NFL players. So and now I'm looking at different stuff. They're saying Antonio Brown snuck a woman into smuggling an OnlyFans model into his hotel room the day before he stormed off the field. And she says she released a statement saying, told her to watch tomorrow what he was going to do. I'm just clicking on this, but this is the OnlyFans model, and she became famous. Now look what she became famous for, according to Daily Mail. Went viral for licking a toilet seat.
Mm.
I don't know how true this is. These are apparently pictures of her text messages that they have. Now, if it's true, I mean, look, Antonio Brown, he doesn't have a lot of credibility already because he has a history of making diva behavior. But I do know, and Shawn, you have said this, that the NFL does treat its players, I'll just say it, like high-priced slaves. They've done stuff like, and what's interesting, I remember when T.O., really, they snapped at T.O. when he did a commercial for, I think it was Nicole Schlesinger or Sheringham for the show Desperate Housewives. And he did it was for Monday Night Football. They were playing I believe it was either Dallas Cowboys in Arlington Stadium. And I remember the episode, the commercial, she takes her towel off to show nothing and jumps in his arms or something like that. And there was criticism from these conservative groups about what happened. Now, that's tame to compare to what they actually do now. I mean, my goodness, they have full-on sex scenes. They have scenes with men and men, women and women that are on cable television, on network television. So, what do y'all think of what happened here? Bishop, if you want to go, you can. I'll let you go first.
Well, I mean, I'm hearing what he's saying. I've read about this, and it seemed like the coach is denying the fact that he ever was aware of certainly any major injury to his leg, to his ankle, and all of that. But I think he was saying that Brown was actually saying that they actually could see the bone bulging from his leg. So I mean, I guess I'm more of a watch and see how this thing all pans out in the end. Who's really telling the truth? Maybe there's an element of truth to both. Maybe he knew there was an injury, but maybe the coach didn't know how severe it was. I did see the tape about how he left the stadium. He didn't seem to be in too much of a trauma, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't in trauma. A lot of times I've seen a lot of people, pull up enough strength to get off the field, and after that they collapse. I've seen boxers do the same thing. They leave the place, and then the stadium, and then they pass out. They leave the ring and they pass out, and sometimes even tragically die. So just because he didn't seem to be injured doesn't mean he wasn't. So mine is just more of a watch and see. It's gonna pan out in the end. It's gonna be known whether he seriously does, whether he needs surgery. He's saying he's gonna have surgery. He needs surgery done to the leg. It'll be revealed by and by.
Yes, and they are confirming that he did actually seek a surgeon for the ankle, and that it is documented he did have problems. He did miss some. He did miss some practices for some games as a result of this. He was suspended for 3 games because of lying about having a vaccination card. He had a fake vaccination card, and he got suspended from the team for that. He got punished for that. So Bruce Arians is known he didn't like Antonio Brown from the beginning, but Tom Brady is the one who brought him on. Shawn, you go ahead and.
Well, the NFL is a known slave plantation, and they don't really treat their slaves very well. So that's why I want to give Antonio Brown the benefit of a doubt, because when it comes to the NFL, they don't really treat their players with the most respect at all. Now, if Antonio was legitimately injured and they forced him to play, then that shows that the slave plantation really does go out of its way to abuse slaves, even in throwaway games for a team that had already seeded for the playoffs. And again, to take a risk with one of your top players like that, it's really dangerous because it just shows that the coach really wasn't critically thinking. If Antonio Brown is a key player you're going to need for playoff games, I would have really just sidelined him because the game against the Jets really was not anything important. It was the last game of the season. And
No,
again,
that's
it
not
showed
true, Sean. That's
well,
not
it
true.
wasn't.
It wasn't the last game for that. The last game of the season for everybody is next week. But
Oh, it's next week, but still, they're 12-4. They're on their way to the playoffs. This game isn't really that important to them. I mean, it's a throwaway game. So I want to keep my players fresh and ready for those playoffs. And if my top receiver is injured, I'm not going to have him playing in a game. I've got second and third stringers who can come in and do that part. And again, you're releasing a top player in a critical period, and this is really bad for the NFL, for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers overall. I mean, you can say what you want about Antonio Brown's behavior, and I think that some ways it could be that he was a little bit of a beta, acting up and throwing a tantrum. But I also see how the coach was a bit beta and throwing a tantrum as well. So when I look at the whole situation, I don't think anybody here was critically thinking about the big picture, which was trying to get the team back to the Super Bowl. And they may have done some serious damage to the team that may keep them from moving as far as they did last year.
Yeah, and he actually got his Super Bowl ring being on the team last year. So
Yeah.
he will go down as a Super Bowl winner, of course. People are saying, will he ever get picked back up? I think he may eventually will, believe it or not. He might find life on another team. But his career record, this is his record as it stands, 928 receptions, over 12,291 receiving yards, 128 rushing yards. You have 89 touchdowns. And bear in mind also, he had incentives in his contract. Had he made those, he would have gotten extra money. So it's either a textbook play, it's either three things. He was actually injured, he's a diva, or he's just outright crazy.
Yeah, there are those who say that he might have CTE, but
Well, you know where that came from, right?
yeah.
Why they say that is because of this hit. Hold on, let me show you. Now, Bishop, have you seen this before?
No, I haven't.
Watch this hit.
Okay.
All right.
Good to the head. Lewis Harris is going to be flagged for this.
If the NFL gave me a copyright strike for this crap. Even though it's fair use,
Was in there too.
When I showed the screen on Sunday.
Across the field, I saw it. I thought it was him. Yeah, I didn't know that they both were in on the coverages at 55 or 37.
Thank you, Black Voltron.
Definitely took the shot to the head.
That was Vontez Burfict, the linebacker. Now watch this, Bishop. Watch.
Okay.
On the sideline, the whole time it seemed like two Vontez Burfict. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
He had a concussion, bad one.
Oh my.
Oh, wow. Still down. That's of course. Good. Out of control. It's going to be everything. That's going to be suspension, fine.
And he's been known. That's a dirty player. Vontez Burfict. I think Bill Romanowski is even worse. It was Romo. That was a racist son of a bee too. Bill Romanowski.
Wow, boy. Well, that was some hit there. My goodness.
That was a hit. Yeah. He got, he hit somebody else like that, I think the next year playing for another team. And he's CTE for Becky's. Yeah. And that's something that people have even said too, speculating he might be bipolar or whatever. And I've heard that he has CTE, but I mean, the problem with CTE diagnosis is that you're not diagnosed until you're dead. So, but yeah, but this thing is going on. Yeah, I'm not condoning what he did on the field, but they're definitely gonna make him the scapegoat. When I saw it, it's like, oh, he's asking for it, because they're gonna run this. You're gonna see Antonio Brown specials on ESPN. You're gonna see all types of stuff. This is not gonna die. Right. You have to, there's an autopsy on the brain. They dissect it and they see if it contains certain chemicals that are in it. And if it looks a certain way, if it's beat up in a certain way, then they can confirm that you have it. Yeah, Vontaze Burfict was a dirty player, but Romanowski was bad too. White boy Romanowski. He broke Shannon Sharp's arm. Broke Shannon Sharp's arm. He broke Kerry Collins' jaw.
Wow.
He actually punched one of his former teammates, a tight end. Yeah, he dislocated Shannon Sharp's arm. I remember when he spat on J.J. Stokes. This is a racist. He was racist, by the way.
You sound like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Romanowski's a slimy.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use.
He spat on J.J. Stokes right there. And I remember when this happened. Hold on.
Day night in San Francisco, the Broncos found out. Once again, Denver blew a lead and fell 34-17. The loss hurt, but an incident involving linebacker Bill Romanowski threatened to destroy the season.
I didn't see it happen. But the next thing you know, you starting to hear rumblings. Romo just spit in J.J. Stokes' face. Yeah, what? He spit in his face.
Here's play before. That's J.J. Stokes, I think, talking to Bill Romanowski. There is a real lack of social graces on the part of Romanowski.
It turned into a race issue at that particular point. Romo spitting into a black man's face. Was it racially motivated?
Yes.
I'd be hard pressed to say it was. But did he do something that could be construed that way? Yeah. And one of the things that was really fueling this is that you could turn on every TV and see Romo right in his face.
Things like this can destroy a ball club. And it very well could. And that's when we had this meeting. And, we asked Romanowski, and he stepped up and said, you know what, guys, I was wrong.
What I did was wrong, and I apologize to him. When emotions are high, logic is low.
I think that was a turning point of our whole season right there. If you guys can accept that, as a team, we did.
I was upset at Romanowski, not because he's white, spit a black guy's face, because he disrespected another man. And I couldn't condone what he did simply because he's my teammate. If my brother's wrong, he's wrong. I'm mad enough to tell him he's wrong. And that's what I did. I was mad enough to tell Bill Romanowski he was wrong.
So there were a lot of questions.
Yeah, well, I remember when Romanowski even tweeted and called Cam Newton a boy after the Super Bowl game, Super Bowl 50. He got called out for that. When they talk about AB and all of this shit on the field, off the field, don't forget what these white boys have done. I'm not saying that even though Cam Newton left the game, yeah, he was acting like a bitch. Excuse me, my expression with that. He act like a diva. I'm sorry, Bishop.
That's okay.
He was acting like a diva when he when he walked out. I didn't like that, but he called him a boy. I don't like that now.
Sounds like a fucking racist name.
Ladies and gentlemen that are outside of the football world, you probably don't know this, but everybody that's been watching football since the 90s knows that Bill Romanowski, former linebacker for the Denver Broncos, is a racist. Yes, indeed, he is. And here is why. Well, first of all, spit in the man's face back in the day, said the N-word a few times on the field. But lately, he got himself back in the news by being on Twitter and tweeting this about Cam.
Storage user.
Boy, you know it is 2016. You know damn good well you can't call somebody a boy, especially somebody as big as Cam that'll beat your ass if you said it to him in his face. So Twitter fingers turn to racist fingers, and Bill Romanowski, here's a finger for you. Little bit dab. Shout out to you, Cam, man. Keep dabbing. They hate us because they can't be us. You know Romanowski was dabbing on that cocaine. Put some cocaine right here. So if you saw the tweet and saw his bullshit ass apologies, leave a comment below. We ain't posting them damn apologies. We ain't trying to hear it. And subscribe right here. We trying to hear that. Romanowski. Get your ass. Woo!
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember, Cam Newton walked off. He walked out of the conference after because he was frustrated. But you know something? And I thought, yes, it was unsportsmanlike for him to do that. But let me tell you this, Bishop and Shawn, when the Patriots lost the Super Bowl to the New York Giants in 2008, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady didn't even want to shake hands with the opposing team. They went back to the locker room.
I remember that.
Same thing with Peyton Manning when the Saints beat the Colts. Peyton Manning didn't even acknowledge the opposing team.
That was when the Eagles beat the Patriots, and Brady wouldn't go over there and shake the quarterback's hand. It was poor sportsmanship. But that's Tom Brady's motor operandi anyway.
Well, they did it against the Giants too, because Tom Belichick walked off. He didn't say hello.
I remember that. Poor sportsmanship.
Yeah, it's poor sportsmanship. I thought Cam was being a poor sport. Cam always dabbing and happy and stuff, and he got exposed by that Denver defense. Hey, all the time you can smile in the camera when you're winning, you got to be in front of the camera when you lose too.
That's right. Same
goes for Bill Belichick. Spygate. But yeah, I remember when Cam. Yeah, I remember he got up. He got up and walked out. You see, he's pouting and stuff.
Well, he's there for less than 3 minutes, and it's not about a stopwatch, obviously. This is by far and away the biggest disappointment of his career, so you will...
Yeah, he was disappointed. Yeah. I'm even more disappointed how he's playing now. If he had saw how he would play now, he would probably wouldn't even shown up to the press conference. Yeah, Brady got his ass beat by Nick Foles. That's why the Golden Boy didn't want to shake his hand.
That's right.
Well, remember when, like I said, when the Giants won, Shawn, you remember because you're up in New York.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
But remember the controversy with that ball, that deflated ball and all. I mean, there's a lot of dirty stuff goes on among some of these guys, these superstars. It's supposed to be so great.
Right. That was the Colts. They didn't walk off and shake hands with nobody.
I remember it.
Yeah. And I get they were upset, but, it's just sportsmanship.
Different feeling in the opposite locker room as Chris Myers finds out that he with Bill Belichick.
Thank you very much, Russ, on the Patriot locker
How many
room.
times have teams walked off when they won?
Had this feeling.
Come on now.
How would you
I mean, the quarterback shook his hand. Every one of them.
We're disappointed.
They felt bad
Where did
too
the
for not
game
winning
get out of
against
hand,
the
in your
Patriots,
opinion?
but
Are you
they
gonna talk
shook
about the last drive?
they were men enough to shake the
We
man's
had our
hand
chances on the last drive
and say,
they
"Job well
plays,
done."
and then big ones at the end.
Tom Brady was not
Did you
man enough
expect
to
this kind of game
concede
in terms of
a loss
defense as well as scoring
after
game?
years of winning.
It's a 3-point game the last time we played.
He couldn't even be gentleman enough to shake Nick Foles'
Can you
hand.
talk about
what the defensive plan was on that last drive? And it looked like Eli Manning was going to get sacked.
I think part of the reason why he was so upset
hands on a
is
few
Nick
balls,
Foles wasn't even the starting quarterback.
But in the end, we didn't. So
That's the difference.
You had the second string
I know this is
quarterback.
difficult. What do you tell your team after
a perfect season up to this point?
Right.
Well, we're disappointed.
It's just right. They just couldn't take it because they weren't on top.
Right.
Yeah.
You talk about a second stringer beat Tom Brady? A second stringer? The replacement for the starter beat Tom Brady?
Yeah. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. This is our final topic. I want to talk about this. If you've seen the movie Don't Look Up, which is on Netflix, it's gotten some reviews, although it's also been criticized by members in the media because the film pokes fun at the media and on society in general. I don't know if you gentlemen have watched it, but it's a very interesting take on pop culture, on society, how we put trivial things ahead of real life stories, real life issues. Directed by Adam McKay, who is the creator of the Ron Burgundy franchise, and he directed this as well. But it broke Netflix's viewing record. And that film was about, an asteroid coming to Earth. And I don't want to give it away, but basically, this time nobody apparently wants to take it serious, even our leaders in government. But it was real funny to see this. And what you see here, they're stating that NASA warns at least 5 asteroids are heading toward Earth in January, and one is the size of Big Ben. A NASA report has warned that at least 5 asteroids are approaching near Earth this January, and one is the size of a large building. The report was published by Jet Propulsion Laboratory, a research development lab that is funded by NASA and managed by the California Institute of Technology. They say that JPL discovered the extraterrestrial objects through its Asteroid Watch dashboard, which detects and tracks asteroids and comets that are expected to come in close proximity with Earth. But all of the forecasted asteroids this year will pass by Earth by a significant distance, and it's very unlikely they will hit our planet. There is no known threat of an asteroid colliding with Earth in the next century. The most hazardous asteroid in the solar system has been named Bennu, and there's a 1,000 chance of it striking Earth in the next 200 years. We won't be here, I don't think, by that time, gentlemen. But asteroids are rocky objects that orbit the sun. They are smaller than a planet, but larger than a meteoroid. So the first of 5 asteroids NASA detected is named 2021 YQ, and it's the size of a large commercial airliner, which is expected to approach the Earth within 1,330,000 miles of Earth on January 5th, which is past. Then we have one coming on January 6th, which is the size of the bus. One that was on January 5th, that was the size of a slightly smaller airplane. We have one that's expected to approach Earth on January 7th. It's only about the size of a car. This is Asteroid 2020 AP1 and Asteroid 2013 YD488 is expected to approach Earth on January 11th and is about the size of Big Ben, or a little bit bigger. So I just found it interesting. So this is a video of it, but I found it interesting that they have this coming out along with that movie that dropped on Netflix. which I thought was funny.
Well, this the type of thing has been going on forever. I remember in 1966 when I was a teenager. My stepfather, my sister's father, come running in to the house. Did you hear it? Did you hear about it? There's an asteroid getting ready to crash into the earth, and it's going to destroy the earth. Now, this is 1966. How many, 50 some years ago, 54, 55 years ago, a little over that. And he was just so nervous. We got to do this. We got to protect her. I said to him, his name was Bernard. I said, Bernard, what can we do? We're on Earth. Asteroid going to hit the Earth. It's going to destroy the Earth. And what can we do? This is before the moon walk and all that type of thing. So there's no vehicle, no space station that we can get on, no ship and fly out of the atmosphere and be saved. We are doomed. Just get into your corner, say a prayer, hope for the best, pray for the rest, and wait for the day to come because there's nothing to do. So if it does hit, if the bus hits, if Big Ben hits, where are you going? Just say goodbye, so long, and good luck. Bye, y'all. If I don't see you again, bye.
On underground.
Well, it's not much anybody can do.
What can you do? Come on, let's be real. I mean, if it hits, what are you going to do?
Send Bruce Willis.
Just realize that everything is in God's hands, and just
that's what I say too, Sean.
Just accept what is.
I believe that. With my heart. And what are you going to do if you live right? You don't have to worry about it.
Nope.
If you don't have to worry about it. You'll end up in a never-ending world. So if you live right, the asteroid hits, it's going to hit, and you're not going to really feel nothing. You won't feel nothing. It'll hit, so the whole earth will be crumbling down. I mean, what are you going to do? Bye, y'all. Call up your long-lost cousin and let them know even if you die, they ain't going to get the inheritance because they're going to die too. Just don't worry about it.
Well, they've had... Yeah, they've had all of these movies and stuff that have come out. Like I believe one was that was released in 2020 with Gerard Butler, Greenspan or Greensday. Where
and then they had one Contact.
Well, Contact was with Jodie Foster with the aliens, but
right. And then the other girl. Remember, she went to the father, and they were on the beach, and they reconciled. The father and daughter reconciled.
That was Contact.
And then the big tidal wave came and killed him. And Beekman rode his bike and was saved because he was able to ride a bike. He went up the hill with his girlfriend and they survived. Where the scientists, they all died because they were on the beach waiting for the wave to hit, and the wave hit them, and that was it.
Yeah, the movie was Greenland. Excuse me. Yeah, Greenland. No, I'm gonna jump in the Millennium Falcon.
I'm gonna get in my wheelchair and scoot out of here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to outrace him.
Larry said he's gonna call Scotty and tell him to beam me up.
Well, Scotty's already up now because he's been dead for quite a while, so he should be able to help you.
Yeah, I say we send Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I destroyed an asteroid before that. Yeah. Hopefully, by the time it comes, maybe Morgan Freeman, although he'll be 89, he could be our next president.
Yeah. The first African American president.
Well, the one with a commanding voice. I can tell.
Oh yes, he has that.
I can make you sound like he's your own grandfather.
Go on, Morgan. I closed my eyes. I swore it was him.
Joe Brown is president. Judges will be, this daggone comet and asteroid needs to strike Earth so it could get some of these sissified punks out of here in this station. It is ridiculous. That Madam Hemhoff, I can't stand her. She's a damn fool. Look at her in this video next to that other fool, that jackass Biden, who ain't nothing but a Dixiecrat, low-down dog of a racist. That's Donald. I think Trump, so we don't have to deal with that hag Hillary.
You sound like the judge. Here come the judge.
These women were groupies. They laid it down on the side and went after Dr. Cosby. Yeah. Well, that's all the topics I had. I couldn't think of anything else. Queen Consciousness said, look at a movie called Melancholia. I'll have to check that out. Melancholia. You know, I've never seen that movie, Chirac, excuse me, with I heard that was all in rhyme and stuff. I gotta watch it. I gotta see it because Spike Lee did it. Although I'm sure it's gonna be some BS. Steve Harvey for president. Well, they already made Steve Harvey a judge. Who knows?
Yeah, I want to talk. I heard about that thing. What is this all about? Judge Steve Harvey show. Come on now.
I'm laying out verdicts just like I'm laying out verdicts just like I'm laying out my stacks on my bed, and I'm counting in 10s and 20s and 100s. I mean, judgment for the plaintiff. Your ass got to pay the settlement. That's the final.
Okay, Steve.
Your ass said you ran a red light. Your ass hit him in the back. Oh, hell. Your ass got to pay. I'm just saying. Idiocracy is great. Yeah, well, you know, it's set up in that's an actual film. And that kind of has parallels with the Don't Look Up movie. But Don't Look Up, it was funny because they made fun of a lot of the leaders that we have. You could tell they were making fun of the guy. Who's the guy that runs Apple? Tim Cook. They were making fun of him too with this guy who they come along, they give out these donors who give money to the president who have no background in science or in research and on any type of field, but because they give money, the president is listening to them more than the scientists, the people that actually do stuff. So it's funny that y'all bring that up, but we're gonna get ready to wrap this thing up, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm definitely gonna do a video. I have to watch this series. I'm gonna watch this series on Women in the Movement, which is on Hulu, because it is about the Emmett Till murder, and I just want to see it. And already somebody, our sister Taisha Essex, I don't think she's watching. She's already saying that it's not. Some stuff is not worth it. That they're lying already. So I'm gonna figure out what it is, but I saw some stuff that they were reporting, but I'm going to do a separate video on it. Brother Bernard says hello. What's up, King BJ?
Hey, Bernard.
All right. I want you all, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not, I need you to go to my Facebook page at the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the destruction of due process in the United States. That will be available soon. I know I keep saying it, but we will have a release date for everything soon for you all. Just stay tuned. But you got to go to this page to get notifications if you have not. Also, I just like to, we also want you to support our Creole seasoning blend. Get you some if you have not. Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com, ladies and gentlemen. That is for our seasoning. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish you can order at the shopping cart there. Before I get to our two songs that I want you to look at, ladies and gentlemen, I want to promote some stuff for our brothers here, Shawn James. Shawn, why don't you go ahead and give a plug-in for your latest books?
Well, the SJS Direct 2021 books are now available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle format. And those include John Haynes, Taking Care of Business, ISIS Revenge of the Cyber Goddess, and E-Steam Cancelification. And on the nonfiction side, I have Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and you can pick up those books along with other great SJS Direct books like Eternal Night and books like The Temptation of John Haynes and the Smith-Dorella Trilogy on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find many SJS Direct titles on other online booksellers like Walmart, Target, Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play.
All right. And while I got you here, Bishop Scott, why don't you give everybody your Cash App? Tell them how they can support you. You have a show you do every Wednesday. Tell everybody a little about that too.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity again to be on this great show with you and Shawn. I really appreciate the opportunity. My Cash App is $G William, capital G, capital W, G William 67. And my program, we have a program every Wednesday on Blog Talk Radio, Real Talk with the G-Man. I'm your host. It's at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The call-in number is 515-602-9655. That's every Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Real Talk with the G-Man.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know we do this live stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And of course, this is Random Topic Thursdays. We do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where I'm joined with Shawn. And I'm grateful that Bishop Scott was able to come in. But you all support our two brothers here, buy their books, support and donate to their Cash App, ladies and gentlemen. Support me at the Cash App too, at Gavin Richard Esquire. So as we wrap things up, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all, first and foremost, to be safe, be blessed, whatever you do tonight. This has been a great broadcast, and I appreciate these two brothers for being here, and I appreciate you all in the chat for being here. And no matter what happens tomorrow or today, just know that God loves you. I love you, and you have to love yourself, and you should love yourself and work hard to do something constructive. So make something constructive out of your life and something nice for others. So till that time, ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead to Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Store and get Video Soul. That's one of the two singles you got there. You can stream Video Soul there. And of course, our theme song for tonight is Gotta Get On Up. So in the meantime, till then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Gavin Richard, a.k.a. Steve Harvey, a.k.a. Charles Barkley, a.k.a. just a nice old fella. And I will see you all in the next one. And I will tell you, I'm going to have Judge Joe Brown come on here again and give his personification of the law and things going on in this country. That Madam Emhoff is a dirtbag for comparing Pearl Harbor to these punks that are running up in the Capitol. So what? He would say something like that. All right. Okay.
All right.
You guys be safe and be blessed. Shawn, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for having me on.
God bless you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.
All right.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Right now, there's nothing much to do, but once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do, cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body, cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on. Come on, baby, gotta get on. The groove, get on the floor. Get on up.